So I'm here with my podcast guest, LayLowLeee, and Lee is a DJ from Drogheda, and he's also got his record label, which I think he started last year in August. And it's called Depth and Weight.
Yeah.
And Lee, what was the thinking behind the name?
Well, before we got the idea of actually putting the record label out, I had interest from a guy that was interested in my music, and he wanted to release it.
Okay.
And the name of his record label he was going to kick off was called Depth and Weight. Right. But that didn't really work out for them, and they chose another name. And when he said that to me, I was like, "Hey, well, can I use that name for my record label?" Yeah. It says because it really is just the vibe of what we play, the music wise and stuff, like, you know what I mean? It's deep and heavy, and
yeah.
So when he said he wasn't going to use that name, I said, "Listen, let me use it." And he says, "Yeah, that's no problem." The reason that they didn't use it was because if you Google it, it's the name of an Alcoholics Anonymous group.
Outside.
Yeah, but
it is, but as long as it's not raining,
that's
it's we're happy. No such thing as bad weather, just bad clothing, right?
Yeah, that's it. Got my scarf on, but yeah, like so yeah, it was an Alcoholics Anonymous group, and him and his buddies that were starting the record label says we don't want to kind of be associated with that, you know. So I said, well, let me use the name, and I hate it. And it worked out a treat for us because it's just it rolls off the tongue, you know.
It does seem to be a perfect house music record label name.
Yeah.
And even the iconography, like the logo with the cube.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that was good as well.
Depth of perspective and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. The different the different parts of the shape.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Like it all came naturally together. Like the name, I literally just kind of lifted it off someone else that I wasn't going to use it. Eric, who produces under the name Metal, has a release on the first record on the first release. He just was messing around and made the logo on his phone, like, you know.
Wow.
And sent it on to me, and I was like, holy shit, that's really
pretty good for a phone.
Really good. Yeah.
App, like.
Yeah. Even have it printed on cups now at home, like, you know.
And with Ben being the kind of catalyst for this conversation that I've had with you, have you done any DJing sets as a collective? Because I know Ben Grogan, for the listeners who aren't aware, is a DJ in Drogheda as well. And do you DJ as like a collective where you're on different slots, or is it just like maybe one of you would represent and then that's it? And then
no, we're a collective, like like even the whole reasoning behind it is because there's 5 of us. There's myself, Ben, Eric, Owen, and Alan, and as there's 5 of us, it's just friends meeting up, playing records, having fun, really. You know, it's not a business venture. It's not. We're not in it to make money or to make it a success per se. Like, it would be great when it does turn out to be a success, like, because we're going to do it forever. So we're just doing it for the fun of it, to have the crack and just make music, mix records, share ideas, and see where it goes, you know.
And I was doing a little bit of research into your sound, listening to your release on SoundCloud, the 1 hour mix.
Yeah, nice.
And with the programming, because it is so, like, you obviously listen to a ton of music to get familiar with those artists to use in your mixes. How do you find new music? How do you... Yeah,
so the way I've always, especially since I got into dance music, it was always I'd be listening to mixes.
Yeah.
I'd never check out the charts or anything. I'd be listening to a DJ mix, and if a song catches me or hits me, I have to go find it, you know.
Right. Okay.
And that's really the main way I started to find music, through mixes. And then once I got familiar with artists I love, I found out about artists that they also liked, and you know, you get them common. Them common sounds that happen within songs, like. And I did have a very one-dimensional sound at the start when I changed from trance music to house, to deep house, to lo-fi deep house music, to coming back out of that again, to go like, for not so deep, to listen to techno and electro and then more breakbeat stuff as well, like, you know. so I'm just listening to as much as I can. But then of course, because there's 5 of us in the group DJing, we all have our different styles, so we're introducing each other to music the whole time as well. Like,
yeah, that's pretty amazing, because with the 5 of you, and all of you are doing your own digging, your own research into what you want to mix together, and I guess like that's just like having 5 brains. You know, you have an extended like sort of library that you can dig into through your mates. Yeah. So that's really cool. Yeah,
like even for instance, like me and Owen had a mix sale last week in my house, and he left his record back there, and it's still there in my house there. So I was flicking through it, and I've done a mix solely just of his records, you know.
Yeah.
So it was his taste, but through my taste then, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And what I love about the whole 5 of us is that we all have a common string with what we do, like, you know. There's particular sounds that we all love. And then Eric can go on a more techno tangent and stuff, you know. Ben can go on a more progressive house kind of tangent. Alan can go all Berlin rolling deep house vibes. A lot of the time Owen can go from nice funky house to soulful to R&B and stuff and back again. And then for me, I find myself more of a like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like I like there's certain styles I really love, and I love having seamless hour-long like mixes that are just smooth and kind of sounds the same for the whole hour. And then I have another inside of me where I have all these electro-y and trance infused songs that I love playing and stuff as well. Like,
okay.
So, but across the whole spectrum of 5 of us, I think we've a good package to kind of throw all-day events and stuff, like, you know, which is what we're gearing up for this year. Like.
Right. Okay. So, speaking about all-day events, were you performing at Flame? The Flame Festival?
I think I performed at the first one of that, and I absolutely loved it. Like,
I'm looking to go to it this year, but I don't know when it is, like what month it's on.
It's on in July, and it's the 17th of July, I think, this year. And don't quote me on that, I'm not sure, but I think it's on in July. Tony King did reach out to me about playing at it, but I just don't think I'll be around for that date to play at it.
Okay.
But like, it's a good thing. It started off really small, and each year it's kind of getting bigger, like, you know.
Yeah, it looked like it's going to be a stalwart, you know, in the northeast.
Well, that's it. Like, it's just a small thing. Once it doesn't turn into a fire festival, it'll be okay. But so like even like for what we're doing, like we could have the capacity to put on a festival, but we wouldn't go down that route because there is a lot of work involved, like, and we're more about just doing what we're doing and the kind of pop-up kind of things, like, you know. So last summer we done I'd say it was about a month's worth of gigs. Like, it was nearly every other day, like, you know. When I finished up my job and I had a load more free time and the weather was great, I would just go down to a pub when they open and just pop down in a few hours, set up the decks and play a few records and see what happens, like. Because it's free entertainment for them, they're like, then see how it goes. And it actually built up so well that I'd done like 5 gigs during the Fla. It was
which
really
I'm raging. I actually messed up my visit to Drogheda with the Fla. Because I was here for the first day. I timed it. I wanted to be here for the last day. And I timed it wrong.
You were like a week early.
I was here a week early. So I don't know what way I looked at the dates, but in my mind, the day that I came down was supposed to be the last day. So I was just thinking, I'll get to see sort of everything, you know, full tilt. And it was the opposite. I was just seeing a few of the buskers, you know.
Just when it was just starting.
When it was just starting, and the pubs were opening up those pop-up sort of
the windows
stalls,
and stuff.
the windows in the shops and that. And I was sick.
Oh, it's crazy, like, because on Monday night I got asked to DJ. Like, I was at home in bed, and it's like, the place is buzzing down here, can you come down and DJ? So that was a pure ad hoc thing where I got up out of my bed, downloaded 19 traditional Irish tunes, and went down and tried my best to to do 2 or 3 hours of music while
yeah.
keeping it on the flat tip, like, you know. So we're playing the Rocky Road to Dublin, and then I'll be playing a deep house tune.
Right, okay.
So I'm still making sure I got my thing.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, get my message across. So then I got asked to do the Tuesday and then the Wednesday again. And the Wednesday was the shortest slot. It was only an hour and a half we DJ'd at the end of the night after a few bands and stuff. But it was the best one because we 2 nights practice beforehand. So I knew what songs were working. I could play Tin Lizzy, Dancing in the Moonlight. Then I could play Fields of Athenry. And then when they're all on the table singing, I can play a house tune and they'll all start dancing. And it was programmed perfectly. So I'm really looking forward to this year now and seeing how it goes. Now, like, we done the Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. From the Thursday onwards, it was traditional music only. It was only Fiat Flacchio. It was... It was just the Irish music, and it was brilliant. So this year I'm looking forward to the first half of the week again, and if we can do that thing. And I've recently come across 160 like MIDI files for a lot of traditional Irish tunes. So I'm going to create my own like house remixes of each one, like. So I don't know what way it's obviously going to turn out, like, but if I can remix the Wolf Tones where it still has that traditional flavour but with a dancey undertone, then I'll get the young people like hooked on something like.
It's kind of like, do you remember those remixes of was it Avicii, the Irish remixes of Avicii? And it was sung in Irish and they had the bodhrán, they had the drums and stuff. Like, that was brilliant because it was almost like that's a brilliant pop song, it's a brilliant dance
it's a great song, but if it's EDM it's terrible, like, but on that style, it's cool. So instead of us kind of going to turn them traditional songs into, say, dance versions of themselves, they'll be just, we're going to try and totally transform them, like, you know. We'll still get the same vibe, but it'll be different. Haven't started work on it yet, so I don't know how it's going to turn out, you know.
I was going to say, what are you using to do the production? Are you using Ableton?
Ableton, it's just strictly Ableton at the minute. I do have a few pieces of hardware that I'm just yet to set up and dive into. Because I know when I hook them up and turn them all on and they're all working at the same time, people won't see me for a few weeks.
You're going to be in the lab.
I'll be in the lab and I'll just be playing away. And I've all the right machines that I need in order to get everything done. So
I'm actually excited listening to this. So hopefully you start putting out the content.
And hopefully the content's good.
I'm sure it'll be brilliant. But like on Facebook and on SoundCloud and whatever other mediums you're starting to use, because I think you're doing a podcast as well. We're starting a podcast. So we are a little late on it. It was supposed to come out in the first weekend of February, like the January one. But we are a little late, but we do have 4 mixes ready to go there. I just have 2 guest mixes to get selected first. So when the 2 podcasts say, I want this mix and I want that mix, then we say, right, we can put out this mix. And then the lads are busy recording mixes as well. We're gonna have a little bit more exposure now. Over the coming weeks and months, hopefully, you know. I think 2019 will be quite a good year. I mean, it sounds like this could be the year where you start.
Ham cheese toasty here and the brownie custard.
Brilliant, that's delicious.
Cheers.
Bon appetit.
Thanks, Mel.
Like the Irish scene has been burgeoning there and been growing the last year or so, and we're on a different tip, music-wise, to what's getting popular, you know.
Is that on purpose, or is that just you being authentic?
It's just us being us, and we kind of can get involved and kind of go down that route and stuff, but we just want to keep it as real as possible, kind of, you know what I mean? Just keep staying true to ourselves, you know what I mean? Like, we can see there's loads of things going on in Dublin. We could say, right, look, we just have to buy 15, 20 records in that style and we might get more gigs, like, but we don't need to do that. We don't want to be doing that. We're just going to keep doing our thing, and look, we have reached out to venues in Dublin and Cork, and we're playing in Cork in 2 weeks. We're playing in Berlin at the end of March, you know, and that's just through people we know and them trusting the sound that we have and understanding that we're on the same tip as them. So we won't go looking for gigs. If the gigs come to us and people want us to play them,
I think the output speaks for itself. Almost like you don't need to try and get commercial with it or go mainstream with it. I think it speaks for itself. It's got its own legs. So like
and it'll look. We're, as I said, like we're around forever. We're not doing this for a certain period of time. Now, like some of the lads are in college and working, getting married, having babies. You know, I'm single, recently finishing up a job, so I'm going to spend all my time doing this and really make a good go of it. Because it's just what I love, and why not? Like, if it doesn't work out, that's okay. I can still start life another way and still do music, because it's always going to be there. You know? So there's no point us falling into playing for trends or following certain trends right now, because they'll end. You know, the same as when I was really into tech house and I was into a certain sound, a record label called Dirty Bird, Claude Van Stroke.
I remember, I listened to that on YouTube loads of it.
Like, and I was so into it, like I was really into it. I followed them so well, and I seen they could start to get really, really, really popular, you know, and I could see their music was influencing a lot of commercial music also, and I could see that, and I don't know, it didn't feel as real as much for me to be listening. Like, I still like the style of music and stuff, but there's just so many other avenues. There's so much music out there.
It's a shame to just.
It's a shame just to kind of stick to one thing, and that's one thing I've learned. Now that was about 4 or 5 years ago, and I got to meet my favourite DJ at that group up in Dublin. Like, so, it was fantastic. And you're always growing and learning and changing. There's never such one constant thing. So
it's almost reminded me of when I used to listen to Tropical House. I used to just listen to Tropical House all of the time. And Tropical House, the main person that was making it was Thomas Jack, some Australian DJ. And it's kind of like, without Thomas Jack, when he started making the Tropical House beats, and he had like his weekly mix, it was like an hour or 2 hours. After that, it kind of sort of died out, I guess, or it seemed to just fade away, you know. Whereas if it had been more of a thing where it was me listening to Tropical House, not because that was what Thomas Jack was making, or that's whatever the name of the DJ was making. If it was just those sounds that I was after, I probably would have been able to sustain it a bit longer. But it just kind of faded away from me because people stopped making it. But that's
exactly what happens, you know. And for us, I think the way it really, like with the music that we're chasing and we're following, it's not really of the time now, like, you know. I bought a couple of records that are fucking weird, like, and I'm listening to them and I'm like, I don't know if that's good or not, you know. Like, it's cool, it's a nice idea, but maybe it's just not for this time right now, you know. And eventually it'll grow on me and I'll hear it, or I'll play it at a certain time and go, now I get it. You know, and I think that's the most rewarding thing with music, like. So back when I was listening to a load of tech house and trance and stuff, I'd take it at face value. As soon as I heard it, I liked it. I was like, that's amazing, that's fantastic. And now it's not just the first go that I listen to something and go, that's fantastic. I might listen to it and go, that's interesting. And then over time, listening to it a few times and go, now I understand that. Now I really like that, you know? Because it was always about figuring it out and
trying to figure out why you liked it, maybe.
Why I liked it. Why does this song give me such a rush or a feeling? When this certain progression of sounds happens. Why, you know? Why is it when the drums drop out and it builds up and then the drums drop back in, does it make me go, that was nice, you know? Why?
You
get
the goosebumps. Certain stages,
So it's about having that feeling and getting that feeling and maintaining it. And for a few years I thought I lost it. I was like, shit, I'm not in touch with music anymore. But it was just, I don't think I was staying true to what I wanted to be doing, you know, so it wasn't happening. And I just felt as though a little spark I had in me for a while, it just quieted down a bit. And now, since Christmas 2018, I'm just kind of coming out of something, I don't know, and just every waking moment I'm spending, any free time I have, I'm spending making music or listening to music or reading about music.
Like, do you read Mixmag or DJ Mag or
kind of like I follow Resident Advisor. That's my main hub for getting any information on the electronic scene around the world.
Right. Okay.
And I listen. I'll go through their articles. So through them, I'll be reading stuff on I think it's Pitchfork or Phased magazine. There's a few, there's loads out there, and so they highlight a good article and I'll read it. But Resident Advisor themselves, they have a few articles like, does the Machine Love one that they do with producers, and they go about their studios. That used to be just a written article and they'd be naming off things, and now there's videos and little demos of the machines
showing
and
the mixers, and
it's fantastic, like, you know, synthesizers and everything. Matthew Johnson's one is really good, like, it's really good. And then they have a feature called Art of DJing, and that teaches you so much, like, it's crazy. The most recent one was with Avalon Emerson, and she goes about how she changed from going vinyl back to doing the digital DJing and using record box in certain ways to make intelligent playlists and set up your hot cues, and the way she does it is creative, and if anyone does the hard work she does, they can be just as good, like, you know. And then a lot of people are saying, well, real DJs only use vinyl and stuff, but look, if you're travelling around the world, you can't carry the same bag of records with you to 20 different countries to play 40 different gigs and make it fresh every single time, especially if you're a popular DJ where you have people following you about for every gig. Like, so let's say I went to Australia and I had a crazy stalker fan in Australia. I went to come and see me at every gig, but what everyone else didn't know is I was playing the same set at every gig. You know, and you could do that. You could be cheap like that and not be sort of like genuine with your artistic output, like, and just be, well, okay, this is what works, I'm going to do this the whole time, and until I have to change it up so I can get paid again or paid more money, you know.
It's almost like they're playing their DJ set the same way a comic would do his stand-up. I mean, like, when you're on a stand-up tour, you'd have your jokes, and you've got your material, and you're kind of putting out your material in a cycle. So you've got maybe a year-long cycle of that material, and so your gigs are kind of like well organised and scheduled or planned to have those jokes in that order at that time, and that's okay because it's different. It's different.
And it's literally it's the same. Like, I love stand-up comedy as well. I've done 2 stand-up comedy gigs when I was younger, when I was 18.
Brilliant.
And it was like that. No, that was terrible. But that was just like my first DJ gigs. You know, they can't be great. You know.
Start somewhere.
And you'll find that with comedians, and like with comedians, the reason I'm a DJ and not stand-up comedian is stand-up comedians bomb 70% of the time, and usually their gigs are like, fucking, people don't get it and it's not funny, and then you have the odd gig, maybe 1 gig a month, and it's fantastic or something. Like, as DJing, it's a lot more forgiving, like, you know? But just as the way as a comic delivers his set, whether it's over 15 minutes or an hour-long special, you have your material, you have your certain ways of entering into jokes and exiting out of jokes, and putting jokes in different orders. It's the same as a DJ with our tracks. You know, you can start off nice and melodic and ambient and deep, and go off on a tangent that way. You can start off banging and then work your way backwards and then back up again, like. So, and it's always about flow and energy, and when you're in the flow, you can't do any wrong. You'll just translate whatever you're feeling quite well, and when you're not in the flow, you won't have such a good time. But if you learn from it, then that's okay. If you realise yourself saying, okay, I didn't do my best there, but that's because, like, the ground was uneven, or something there was something factor there was on your mind.
It could be even you had the wrong drink.
Exactly.
You know, drink didn't agree with you. You didn't have your Red Bull and Coke.
I didn't have my headphones. I was using someone else's headphones. You know, the table was lopsided. You know, all these small little things. Like, a bad worksman would blame his tools, but an artist has to get into that frame of mind and into that space where you can be the best you possibly can be, where you can't mess up. Just entering into that flow of just.
It's almost like whenever you are watching a set in the boiler room, I always think those people that are doing the sets with the sometimes they have the headphones on, sometimes they don't. But it seems to be like they're really just playing for themselves, or they're really just trying to play from, they're trying to make a sound that they can almost visualize and sort of. It's an internal thing, and what they're trying to do is project that forward to the room.
Because like that's literally. When I was the digital DJing, that's how I done it. I probably would record 2 or 3 mixes a day or a night or whatever it was I was mixing. Build a playlist, record it. Build another one, record it. Okay, switch them 2 playlists up and record it, you know, and try and create that vision or that journey that I have in my mind. And hopefully if someone listens to it, they'll really enjoy it. So then when I got to the point where I was having gigs and I was DJing out, was I going to play what people wanted to hear, or play what I wanted to play out to kind of introduce people to it?
Yeah, yeah.
So it was a kind of, I want to show these people this cool music that I like. I also want to educate these people on music they might know about.
Mm-hmm.
And I want them to have a good time doing it also as well.
Yeah.
And when I first started out, I was adamant and no, Lee, I have to listen to this. No, what you listen to, you don't really know what you're listening to. I know what's right, and I know the good music, and I'm going to show you, and this is what you're going to listen to. And that was the wrong way of doing it, because if you're going to introduce anyone to anything, you have to familiarise them with in a way that's with something they're already familiar with, you know.
Yeah.
So give people a little bit of what they won't know and what they want, and then in between you can slot in what you know and what you want, and slowly but surely it becomes what they want. Mm-hmm. And the reason with Rantdom, we don't have a regular thing where it's every week. We do a gig once a month. Over the course of the summer we'll do more gigs regularly. We'll have our face out there and you'll get to hear our sound a bit more. But I growing up and investigating about DJing and figuring out that guys would have residencies in a club. Yeah. And they would play that club every Thursday, Friday and Saturday. And they'd be playing house music, and they'd be playing the newest of music and the oldest of music, and they'd be breaking new music. Yeah,
like the rights venue.
Yeah, so if you want to break a new tune, you have to introduce people to that slowly but surely. Maybe give them the first 2 minutes of a song, mixing it with something they know, then mix it back in, you know, and then you get to play it the whole way through. Then you get to play it twice in a night, you know, and then suddenly people are going, oh, I really like that song, you know. Yeah. They're only hearing it in that club by that DJ at that time. Yeah. That's not as prevalent in the scene nowadays, I don't think anyway. It would be different in places like Dublin that has a load of places that are opened, but also a lot of places that are closing down now as well. But it's about having that consistency there, like, you know. And Rantdom doesn't just have that just yet, but like we seen last year with club nights like Move, and there's a new one that's on the go called Bump, and then Adject and Wait nights.
Right. Okay.
Like, it's growing. People know there's things on and there's things they want to be involved with, and and it's going to be fun. This year is going to be really, really good for music in Rantdom and Ireland in general, like, you know. Yeah,
I was going to say, who's your favourite Irish DJ? You know, let's say you're not allowed to choose any of the collective. You have to choose somebody else. Yeah. Or even more than one if you.
It'd be hard. Like, even if you said like my favourite song or anything, like, you know. But there's a couple of DJs I'm following at the moment. But like, it's mad. Like, there's like one of my first favourite Irish DJs is a guy called Shane Linehan. He's from Cork.
Right. Okay. There's a good few DJs from Cork.
Cork is where it's happening. Like, we went down there for Fishco Deep's 30th birthday party in November.
Seen that on their Facebook page.
We DJ'd in a pub called the Roundy beforehand. I got to meet all the old school legends of the Cork scene and the Limerick scene.
He is essentially like the Moby of Ireland. The duo of Fishco Deep. They just remind me of Moby. Yeah, two guys, Greg and Shane, and they've been pushing the sound for 30 years now. Like, the house music sound. And it's unbelievable.
It's crazy, like, you know. So they be up there, like, seeing them perform at that night with all the people that have been following for them so many years. Like, it was a special moment in house music, I swear.
I'd say that even the crowds themselves were probably, there's a lot of musicians.
And even budding DJs and everything else. And guys that have also been DJing just as long as the other two guys and stuff, you know. But like, so Shane Linehan was one of the first Irish DJs I came across that he's a mix on Northern Purpose, which is a British podcast, and it's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I listen to it every summer for 3 months. It's fantastic.
It's timeless, one of those.
It really is timeless, and even all the songs in it, I'm only starting to discover them now, like, you know. And even him playing, like, there's a track on it by Derek Carr called Cuba, and it's definitely pitched right down because it's quite a fast song, but he has it playing so slow in a slow set. Right. Okay. Derek Carr is from County Westmeath, Mullingar, and he's been producing and making music for 25 years, maybe a little bit more. Wow. You know, and he's after getting a great resurgence the last little while, you know. So the guy from the Midlands is making fantastic, futuristic, boundary pushing music.
And he would have started off with just turntables.
And if even maybe crappy little drum machines and Yamaha synths and stuff, and starting off, like, you know? So, like, for the old school heads that exist in Ireland, and then the younger guys starting to play them, it's fantastic. There's another girl from Cork I recently discovered, I came across Aoife O'Neill.
Okay.
And she plays a very broad taste of music, like techno, breakbeat, electro, all aspects of electronic music, kind of, you know.
Yeah,
and she
has
a show called
mix.
Yeah, she has a show called Out of Space, and that basically gives you an inkling of the music. Yeah.
Sci-fi.
So. Yeah, it's basically all my favourite Irish DJs at the minute and stuff from Cork.
That's pretty cool, because I was going to say Fish Go Deep would be my one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and John O'Callaghan and Brian Kearney.
Yeah.
So I do like trance and...
yeah, I still like, I mean, a lot of music I used to listen to, you'll have the trancey flavours that I used to love from back in the day. And if I'm at an after party or something and gets a bit the music gets a bit faster and stuff, I get to play some of my own favourites, you know.
Yeah, it's due to. Do you remember those Euphoria compilations?
Yeah.
It was due to the Euphoria compilations that got me into trance.
Okay.
So I just have that Euphoria CD for like 20. I guess going back like maybe 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
And it would just be like Euphoria Volume 56, 57, and it'll be a 2-hour long CD,
and it's fantastic.
Just and even it was blended and mixed so that like as the tracks changed, it just continued on.
It continued
you know
on.
What I mean? Like with separate songs.
Yeah, like to quote T.O. Parrish, it's keeping a continuation of sonics in your area.
Yeah.
So the radio will play a song and then play another song, and then a radio DJ in a pub will play one song and try his best to swiftly move into the next song, but because it's a different style of music, you can't really do the magical blends of the music that me and the guys listen to and play and whatever else. Like, you get to play two songs and blend them in a certain way that you create a third song. Then that's the magical feeling, like, you know, and that's where you create them moments on the dance floor where people don't really know is what am I listening to? Was that the last song? Is this the new song? You know? It's about creating them moments where I want people to feel how I feel when I listen to it, and I don't know what the fuck's going on, and I want them to go and then for them to get really interested in it and really want to figure it out, you know?
Because I was going to say, when I was listening to that podcast I mentioned before we started recording, the James Vincent McMurrow one, he was talking about how he was working with producers who and working with people in the industry who would just turn down anybody who went through any of those talent shows, you know, like The Voice, X Factor, all that stuff. And the reason behind it wasn't anything got to do with the show itself. It was just that the people that the show had on never really seemed to have the authenticity or the that kind of the offering that they were looking for, which is really just like, as an individual, who are they as a musician, and you know, why didn't you just do your own thing?
I totally 100% know what you mean. It's like they're going out onto a stage singing someone else's songs, saying look how great I am, but not only that, it's more than likely it's going to be pop music they're going to sing, unless they have a special interest in opera or something. But that's not like, that's not, I don't know, that's not even talent. That's probably being having a skill. I can sing. I can sing all of my favourite songs. Well, fair play to you. You know, I even say to my friends that are in cover bands that don't really do any original material. They're like, "Oh, you're DJs. You just play other people's music." And I'm like, "You're in a cover band. You also play other people's music. It would actually be easier and more profitable for you to be a DJ instead of spending all them hours practicing your guitar, but practicing other people's music and playing other people's music. Write your own stuff, you know." And I'm not taking a dig at anyone who plays the instruments and doesn't learn or make their own music.
No, cover bands are right.
But that's where my goal is with music, you know. I'm going to try and make my own music. I've made over 600 tracks in my little career. The 500 of them are absolutely shite, like absolutely terrible. But it's okay. They're authentic. They're real. They're moments in time captured of how I felt at that time. Using them sounds, trying to create a feeling or an energy or a vibe, you know. So and to be an artist, as you were saying about James Vincent McMurrow, sat in his room for 3 years, didn't let anyone hear his music. He just walked, and then suddenly, okay, now it's time to put myself out there. Put myself out there, and someone says, "Ooh, you've been working hard, kind of,
Yeah.
and that shows through your art.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're a wannabe DJ or producer or anything, and you're not really working that hard, but you do get a few lucky breaks, as shows, because you know you won't last long. Or the output of what you're doing is just, it's not received in the right way, kind of, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And
Because the thing he was saying, the thing that I found most interesting was he was always kind of compared to Bon Iver.
yeah,
And Bon Iver makes folk music, and James Vincent McMorrow didn't know anything about folk music.
Yeah.
He's more of a soul sort of. He listened to a lot of hip hop
Yeah.
and indie, and he was going for that kind of soul and indie. Like there's a guy called Donny Hathaway, and Donny Hathaway was somebody that Pharrell used to listen to.
Yeah.
Before Pharrell started producing and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then James Vincent McMorrow was just listening to Donny Hathaway because he was trying to get in contact with that kind of the inspiration for other people that he likes in hip hop.
yeah,
And that kind of a thing. So when he was compared to Bon Iver and he was compared to people like Lumineers and things like that,
Yeah.
it was really like, you've missed the point. You know, I don't know if you've actually listened to my music. I don't know if you ever asked me why I sing the way I sing, or
Yeah.
even who I try and like emulate when I do sing, because he was saying that not many people have his sound, and the reason he was not confident about going out there in the first 3 years of him actually working on his music was that he knew he was distinctive.
Yeah.
Already he knew that like he's not going to be mainstream, he's going to be like,
yeah. Like, so he felt that his music didn't have a place yet. It didn't sound like anything else.
Yeah, yeah.
So how is it going? How do you market something that doesn't exist? It's like,
yeah
in a way,
kind
like
of,
it's like a new product on the market, you know. How much? Yeah. So how do you sell yourself when you don't know what you're selling, kind of, you know?
Yeah,
And there is a way of having confidence in your art and stuff you're doing, like, something that I kind of get away with a lot, I'd say, by having that confidence, like, you know, that belief in myself, and then I'll go along and do the gig, I'll perform or whatever, and it might be the best, but I'm putting my all into it, you know what I mean?
yeah.
I might know what I'm doing, I might know what the outcome might be, but I'm just kind of doing it for a good time, to get everyone involved and have a good time, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like it's about,
And I think people can read that. As soon as you're doing that, I think you actually, it may be subconscious, or it could be another thing where if somebody's doing the same thing, they can empathize with that.
yeah,
But you automatically get the following that you want to get.
as an actual following.
An actual following.
Yeah.
You're not trying to get like a train, a bandwagon. You're not trying to jump on the bandwagon. The
No.
bandwagon's gone long ago.
Yeah.
You're trying to make your own movements. You're
Yeah,
trying to make
100%. Yeah,
make
I
your-
don't want to go over and join that crowd over there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll only get as far as the back of the crowd now. I get pissed off and fuck off. You know, because I stand in the corner by myself, and then slowly but surely they come to me, and they figure it out. You know?
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
It was always been going against the grain, you know. Just these guys are doing that. Well, I'm going to do the complete opposite and see what reaction I get and see how it goes.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit kind of fuck the system style, like, you know.
Do you reckon Aphex Twin was kind of that guy?
Yeah.
For a long time.
Yeah, but at the same time as well, he was probably just literally sitting making mental shit, going, "What the fuck is this? What is this?" And then someone heard it, or he showed it to someone, and they were like, "Man, you should show some other people this." And and it found a place. Everything does have a place. You just have to find where that place is.
Yeah, I think with Aphex Twin, you could tell he just didn't care, because he started making his song title names, the title tracks and stuff. They were just numbers. They were just letters and numbers. It was almost as if somebody had just like had a list of like generated computer
12-digit numbers.
12-digit numbers. Yeah, exactly.
Easy.
Exactly.
But you have people out there that would be his hardcore fans.
Yeah.
That would be like, do you know that song 0066116945?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm like, oh yeah, I love the melody on that one. Do you know the other one? And like, and with him even doing that, I know myself, if I spent a lot of time listening to some of them songs, and I kept checking the name to say, oh, what's this one, even though it's just a number.
Yeah.
If I ever seen that number even say spray painted on a wall, you'd recognise it, you know.
Yeah.
If you're if your art or whatever it is you're doing creatively carries real substance, it'll affect people, and it'll be stuck in their mind and they'll remember it. That's what I really feel. Or even they might shun it straight away or ignore it straight away. Even for myself, like, I'm kind of naturally ignorant in a certain way, like, but it's good because I'm not listening to certain albums people should listen to, and all of like stuff you should know, like, because of my ignorance, you know. Like, I first listened to DJ Shadow's album Introducing, I think it was only about 2 months ago, and it's a pinnacle album. Every DJ would listen to it and know it, and I never listened to it. I put up on Facebook saying, "Oh, Dad, you get to listen to this from start to finish for the first time," and everyone was like, "Are you for real? Are you not a DJ? Like, are you not supposed to know about music?" It's like, I do, and I am. I says, but just not all this.
All the kind of stuff that I'm told I should be listening to.
Oh yeah, you should know this. Like, you know? There's a deadly little article about Frankie Knuckles' song "Baby Wants to Ride." And what was yours? Shit. There's a song, Your Love, Jamie Principle. Okay, so it was one of the first. It was released in 1986, and then re-released and repressed on other record labels without their permission and stuff. It was crazy. I remember when one of the guys that taught me how to DJ, Andrew Carney, asked me, he goes, "Do you know that Baby Wants to Ride song by Frankie Knuckles?" I was like, "No, never heard of it." He goes, "What? Man, you should know this. This is a classic house track." And I was just like, "I don't know it." And then he showed it to me, and I was like, "Oh yeah, it's alright." But then he played it out one night without me knowing what it was, and like, that moment happened. It captured and it hit me, and I was like, "What is that? That's that Baby Wants to Ride tune." I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah.
You know, so my ignorance pays off. Always pays off, you know.
I guess for me, when I used to try and DJ a lot, like, I used to DJ digital DJ.
Yeah, same.
And it was really just kind of nights, just working at nights. Yeah. And when I get these like sort of creative moments, and I'm trying to go through Beatport. So Beatport would be my go-to sort of place to get certain genres of music.
Yeah, of course.
And find out what's been played and what people are after. Not to play just to please, but also to play for myself. Like, I need to find out what I'm going to enjoy. Yeah. So just checking out and stuff like that. And the amount of tunes that I'll come across, which I'd end up having to wiki the artist, and then think, "Oh no, that was used in that movie, and I can't believe I've heard that before, and that was from this." And I was just like, I didn't know why I recognised it, but I'm glad I found out eventually, because if I was meant to find out about it, I'll find out about it. Yeah. Kind of thing. So in my own time, I'll get the knowledge when I'm supposed to get the knowledge. Yeah. So it kind of.
It's the same as even if you read something first time around, you might get something from it. And a couple of years later, as you grow and change as a person, you read it again, you get something else from it. Same thing. You get something else from it because you see it with a different perspective, you know? That's what happened to me a lot lately as I've been getting older. Like, I mean, I got into music when I was only about 13, like, I started listening to Linkin Park and Slipknot and stuff, and then moved more into hip-hop. And even at that, I was like, I'd never listen to that rave music, because back then rave music to me was Scooter and DJ Rankin.
Oh, terrible. XFM.
Absolutely, absolutely terrible music. A Drunken Monkey, like, you do around like crazy
all
stuff.
The Eurotrance.
All the Eurotrance. Like, seriously, that's what we were introduced to. It was like in Ireland, like, it was just fucking weird.
Yeah, and then I have to give it to Mark McCabe.
Yeah, like, for sure.
You've got to give it to Mark McCabe.
Yeah. One of his latest songs, I've noticed, rips off one of the first kind of weird underground tunes I ever was introduced to by one of my friends.
Right.
I'm going to expose that. I'm going to do a bit of a post on Facebook about that.
Right.
I think there's a band called Sepulture, and they have a song and it literally goes dun 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 dun. Mark McCabe's newest song, literally that, and I'm like, no way. You might pay the guys a couple of grand for that sample, and fair play to them, like, selling it on, you know. But yeah, so like when I first got into music, the God's Kitchen was still about, and big massive trance events were there, like, and that's where I kind of got into trance. And I got obsessed with wanting to go to Holland for the music. And
they still have the not only the Tomorrowland Festival,
but the Amsterdam Dance event as well.
Yeah. Sorry, Tomorrowland is There's one in Brazil, but there's
another one in Belgium or Hungary or something. One of my friends went to it, and she said it was like something else. The production of it is crazy.
It's Civiget or something like that, or
something like that.
Yeah, it's Civiget.
No, that wouldn't introduce me. All the bells and whistles and lights and colours doesn't interest me at all. It's about the music and the vibe.
Yeah.
I want the right people there with the right music playing, and it's one thing I've learned with going to gigs in Dublin and Cork and Belfast. Like, you just go up and you don't have any expectations, and if the vibe's right, if it is if I walk into a place that I know is this is for me, this is the vibe I'm looking for. I know if the music's right and the bar staff are nice, and I talk to someone in the beer garden and you have a good chat, and it's just, that's what it's about. That's really what it's about.
And I couldn't agree with you anymore, Lee. And then on that point, I'm just going to try and round out with your 3 desert island discs for the podcast, because I always do this. It's hard to put a DJ on the spot about 3 tracks that he would bring to a desert island if that's all he had with him. But if you could choose 3 songs for the moment, even just for today, this moment, what would they be?
Okay, so there's a recent release by Noah Skelton. He's a guy from Dublin.
Right, okay.
And he's an EP on a record label called Amor.
Right.
And my favourite track on that's called Trailblazer.
I'll check it out. No Skeleton, Trailblazer. It actually sounds like an amazing tune.
It is. It's really good. It's a nice, energetic, dancing tune with a lovely melodic thing that happens at this breakdown, and it's fantastic. So that's one. There's another one that I've been obsessed with playing at home and at gigs, and it's an old track, and I paid a pretty penny to get it on vinyl.
Right.
And it's a guy called Ani A Hun, and the song is OAR 0003B, I think.
Wow. I'll have to listen to the recording to remember the name of that track.
But that's a really good one. It's a 10-minute long, extravagant, fucked up left field synth extravaganza. It's brilliant. It's fantastic. It's so uplifting, really trancey and really deep as well. And it works. It's so good. And then another favourite. I'll round it out on an album I got that was sold out, and I was spending an extra few quid to get it. It's a guy called Grant, and the album's called The Acrobat.
Right, okay. What kind of genre?
It's deep house. Yeah. And it's like lo-fi deep house, but it was lo-fi deep house before it kind of became a bit popular. It's just this filtered, scudgy, low-slung, head-nodding kind of deep house.
So not too many lyrics.
No lyrics. Probably.
That's good.
There's a few classic movie quotes in it, and it's the way it's done is cool. The use of delay and space in it is brilliant in each production.
Is it kind of like Primal Scream?
No, I could actually even say maybe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes they use samples from movies and that, and it's just like.
But I could actually even as you say that, I'd be like, and then even think about the artist that created it, I'm like, I bet he's into Primal Scream. Like it's and the whole album carries the same kind of feel and vibe through it, and I hunted it down for a long time. I actually have he's one of the first artists, Grant. He's the first artist where I have every single record he has released. And he was unknown for about 2 or 3 years. No one knew who he was. And then he released an interview and explained, I'm already successful. I don't want to be releasing new music under this new moniker and everyone to know it was me, because they'll paint me with the same brush. My old fans won't like me for the new stuff, so I had to get new fans, and by doing that was making sure no one knew who this guy was. So the music went out there, and the music gained this weird traction,
There's a few DJs who've done that. They've totally changed their names, and they've moved on to like another
different sound and stuff, because you see it with bands and that all the time as well, where they change up the sound and people are like, even like for instance, I remember being in school and Metallica released Saint Anger, and all my friends were like, no, I hate that. I'm stuck on to Shy, and I was like, okay, it's just a different style. You don't listen to the same stuff over and over. And then of course there's times where I want to listen to the same stuff over and over, and times I want to discover new music and create and hear new sounds and create more sounds and see where this music thing takes us.
Lee, it's been brilliant talking to you 100%. About music and depth and weight. and your plans for the future with the podcast. I wish you all the best with your endeavours and going into the music thing full time.
Yeah.
Literally head first. I was just going to say, in terms of people trying to find out where you're playing and where you'll be next, in the next few weeks, what have you got coming up if anybody wants to come and check it out?
Yeah, okay, so if anyone wants to come and see us play, on the 23rd of this month, February, we are playing in the Rantdom in Cork.
Okay.
The following week, on the 2nd of March, we're playing in the living room in Drogheda.
Right, nice.
On the 23rd of March, we're playing in Berlin, in Germany, in Repeat Bar in Kreuzberg. And then the last gig we have booked then is in the living room in Drogheda on April 20th. So 4:20. That'll be a good gig.
In for a treat.
In for an absolute treat, yeah.
Perfectly.
Thanks so much very much for having me. It was great, interesting chats to be having.
And hopefully we'll have another one.
Yes, definitely. I'll be up for that, yeah.
Yeah, to see where we'll be at in a few months.
Yeah, that would be great, yeah.
I'm going to hold you to it.
See what everyone I was saying worked out. Oh, straight.
Watch this space. Thank you.
You have been listening to the Rantdom podcast. The rant's over now. Thanks, listeners.